Marianne Faithfull dated some of music's biggest rock icons until they walked away. So, let's talk about who loved her and who left her. We start with Mick Jagger, of course, but did you know Marianne and Mr. Ziggy Stardust had an affair? We'll talk about him in a bit. Her tumultuous relationship with Mick Jagger is something that stands out in her dating history because it wasn't as glorious as some of you might think it was. It all began in 1966 when Marianne made the headlines with her hit song, As Tears Go By. Guess who was the co-writer? Sir Mick, of course.
You might just find that you're what you need.
Now, their relationship did last on and off for 4 years, but trust me, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. It had a catastrophic effect on her life. And I'm not making this all up. Marianne herself believed it, because this is what she had to say about her time with Jagger. I left everything for Mick, completely gave all my intelligence and innate grasp of the world to him. I went too far, as usual. If getting addicted to heroin is what she meant by going too far, then she's absolutely right. How many of you remember that infamous drug bust in 1967 at Keith Richards' country house? That is what changed her image in front of the world, because the media named her the naked girl in the fur blanket. Why? Because she was taking a bath when the raid happened, and she put on the first thing she found, which was a fur blanket. And her troubles did not end with that raid. Marianne moved in with Mick in 1968, and that's when she found out that she was pregnant. But unfortunately, she suffered a miscarriage at 7 months. She went through a lot during her time with Jagger: heroin addiction, miscarriage, and on top of that, she even lost custody of her 5-year-old son, Nicholas. But a time will come when you decide that a certain relationship of yours isn't worth it. For her, it was when she almost lost her life to a drug overdose in Australia, and that's when she decided to split with Mick in 1970 after being together for 4 years, which according to her was full of enormous pressures. But drug use and a chaotic lifestyle weren't just a part of her relationship with Mick Jagger, because before him, she was in a brief relationship with the Rolling Stones guitarist Brian Jones, which was also full of it. Although their relationship was a pretty brief one, it did have quite an impact on Faithfull's life. You see, she was just 18 when she met Jones, who already had a bad boy image in the industry. Marianne was attracted to his artistic and rebellious nature and got involved with him in the mid-1960s. And just as everyone would have thought, things became strained pretty quickly for her. I mean, how else do you think her relationship with a drug addict would have turned out? Brian's infidelity and his mood swings were what caught up to Marianne quickly, and that's actually when her own drug addiction began. This is the relationship that played a big role in her descent into addiction. Not only this, but Brian's death in 1969 affected her a lot, because she was the one who witnessed all his struggles firsthand. Jagger and Jones weren't the only Rolling Stones members she was involved with, and just like the rest, her relationship with Keith Richards was a very complex one. I mean, it wasn't so much of a relationship, it was just a one-night stand, but it did leave quite an impact on Marianne because she claims that it was the best night of my life, and that one night was what paved the way for her and Mick Jagger. Because according to Marianne, both Keith and her were attracted to each other, but she ended up with Mick because Richards asked her to. Why? Keith thought it would be good for the band. That's what she said. Not only this, she even claimed that she didn't really love Mick at the beginning. She was just obeying Keith. Whoa, now this is the kind of love triangle no one would want to be a part of. Now, I don't know why Keith thought this was a good idea, but Marianne, well, she just did what she was told to do. Keith and Faithfull still went on being friends and always said good stuff about each other, so there were really no hard feelings between the pair. Speaking of hard feelings, there surely were some when Marianne and Ben Brierly ended their marriage of 7 years. She married this punk rocker in 1979 after being in a roller coaster of a relationship with Jagger and her one-night stand with Richards. People really thought Ben was the one. I'm sure Marianne thought the same as well. But that was until Ben left her heartbroken after cheating. There's no coming back after that, Ben. But Ben wasn't the only cheater in that relationship. Maybe Marianne didn't cheat on Ben, but she did on Mick Jagger, and it was with David Bowie. Now, there are no reports of them being involved in a proper relationship, but a piece from NYDN has unveiled that they were indeed involved in a hookup. According to this piece, Bowie was sleeping with a lot of people in the 70s. He and his wife, at the time, Angie, were involved in different sorts of sexual activities, involving other celebs as well. And guess who was also a part of it? Mick Jagger. Apparently, David slept with a lot of Jagger's wives and girlfriends, including Bianca Jagger and our very own Marianne Faithfull. Did she regret doing that? Who knows? But she did regret missing out on a relationship with the next person. I'm talking about Jimi Hendrix. In fact, she claims that her biggest regret was that she was with Jagger at the time and couldn't be with Hendrix. She watched Hendrix play at the famous music club The Bag O' Nails in London in 1967 and labeled her experience as magical. I mean, it's not a surprise though, right? Jimmy was known to captivate the audiences with the way he played guitar. That was his thing. Too bad Faithfull never got a chance to be with Hendrix. They would have looked good together, I think. Speaking of not being able to be with the one you want, the next guy went through exactly what Marianne went through with Jimmy, and it's Bob Dylan. Faithfull revealed that Dylan asked her out once, but she refused. Poor guy, Bob. But Dylan was so in awe of her that he even wrote a poem about her, but tore it up later after being rejected. However, the good thing here is that there were no hard feelings between them after this. Marianne revealed that she really liked him and that they'd been friends for over 56 years. Now that's a long time, folks. She even said that It's All Over Now, Baby Blue by Dylan is her favorite track.
And it's all over now, baby blue.
And it helped regain her voice when she was struggling with COVID a few years ago. Dylan didn't get to be with the woman of his dreams, but in return, he got a friend for life, and I think that's something one could settle for. Now, maybe Bob Dylan wasn't her type, because Faithfull was into guys with more of a rebellious nature. So much that she even dated a drug dealer. Yeah, you heard it right. A drug dealer. I'm talking about her ex, Jean de Breteuil. To some, he was a handsome, jet-setting playboy who loved having all the luxuries in life. But if words are to be believed, he was a drug dealer who supplied heroin to some of the biggest rock stars of that era. This was the reason why his identity was kept low. But he was the guy the rock stars called when they needed to party, if you know what I mean. How did Marianne end up with a guy like that? Well, it's something even she wasn't sure about. She met Breteuil at a party, and this is what she had to say about him. He was a horrible guy, someone who had crawled out of a stone. That's exactly what she wrote about him in her 1994 memoir, Faithfull. And that's not it. She even said that for him, it was all about drugs and sex, and that he was only with her because she was Jagger's girlfriend once, and somehow she ended up with him. Their relationship might have been a short one, but Marianne did accuse him of something really big. Faithfull said it was Breteuil's drugs that killed Jim Morrison in 1971. Whoa. She did end up clearing it and said it must have been an accident, but she was sure it was his drugs that killed Morrison. Now, you could say that her dating history with all these rockers was a bit shaky. I mean, she clearly didn't end up with the right guy, not even once. Every time it was about one thing or the other, but you can't miss out on the fact that Marianne was a great singer. She gave us so many amazing performances, and she even was an inspiration for quite a few Rolling Stones songs. Over the years, her health deteriorated because of her lifestyle in the past. The breast cancer, COVID, and emphysema all caught up to her in the end. Her death shocked everyone to the core, including rock stars and even us rock fans. This is what her ex, Mick Jagger, had to say about her passing away. I'm saddened to hear of the death of Marianne Faithfull. She was so much a part of my life for so long. She was a wonderful friend, a beautiful singer, and a great actress. She will always be remembered. But he obviously wasn't the only one. Keith Richards and Ron Wood also weren't shy of penning their tributes to her, and the band even shared their version of As Tears Go By as a tribute to her. We all know that song, but now it hits harder than ever. Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich was also among the many who paid their tributes to her. Marianne contributed a lot to the band's 1977 single The Memory Remains, and this is what Ulrich had to say about her. Thank you, Marianne, for the good times, for your kindness, for the great stories, for your fearlessness, and the biggest thank you and fuck yeah for your incredible and unique contribution to our music, and for always being so willing to join us in performing it and partake in the ensuing shenanigans. Marianne. She had the voice, the beauty, and the rock and roll spirit. All I can say is that she will be missed a lot.